Now, when I come back to it, I will have the reference photo just so you can see what we're aiming for. And before we finish, I'm going to put in some outlines of trees at the back, on both sides actually. So just coming this way, sort of a forest scene. Some of these I'll make thinner. May want some of them in the background. Oops, that's the, it hasn't exactly worked out. We don't want all the same shaped trees, obviously, but for now, it's going to be very rudimentary. Now, the forest sort of comes to here. Water comes in about there. And we have those trees sort of all the way around. Some near and some far. But right now, these are really just indications of where things are, or where things should be eventually. Okay. Just a little more. In here. Here. And I'm going to put in just ever such a slight bit of red here as well, just for the underlying parts, because they will need some colour, because green can be quite tricky really. Won't always get kind of the exact shade of green that you might like. So sometimes red being the contrast of green can be useful. Certainly as an undercover for a painting of this type. It just can give more body. And we may want that maybe coming up a little bit more here. Doesn't really need to go up any further there. So we've got some of that nice some difference of the levels there. And actually, I'm going to leave this one now with that and come back to it the next time. And let's start on the next one. Now this one is another landscape, and I'm going to be using similar colours, so that's another reason why I thought we might as well try the two in one day for the undercoat anyway. I don't know if I'd be able to do this when it comes to painting over, but we'll see. Okay, so again, I don't have the photo, but what we have here are some vertical lines going towards a horizon line around here, and in the horizon line there are lots of trees and shrubbery. Over this side there's the bare outline of a building, and here the vertical lines here, this one is a pathway, and over here is the canal. This one is actually, this is the pathway here, I'm sorry. And here we have a netting where the pathway was. And behind here there are some railings. Okay, so we'll get started and see what we can do today. Look at this guy again. Now, the pencil sort of mixed slightly there, but it doesn't matter. Giving it a grey effect, which is quite in keeping with the Irish climate anyway. Even in the summer we don't always get blue skies. Okay, so I'll just keep that in here, and maybe a little bit deeper blue on top here, because again that can give us the impression of distance, because we are trying to get an impression of a three-dimensional situation on a two-dimensional surface. So obviously we're limited in a sense, and so well you can do that. Now we'll just put some I'm going to just put some murky water where the canal should be, but maybe first I'll do some of the edges of the pathway while I have the red still in the big brush, because I don't really want that in on the canal, even as an underlying thing. Now, so this is what we have here. I'm painting over the tree, but there is one big tree here. I just want to get, maybe if we can get this sort of, there's a wall in here, short wall. And then my railings here, so I'm just going to just outline these for now. I called it there were shrubs there, and more greeny aspect here, because it was actually more leafy, you know, as I recall, quite leafy. And again, bearing in mind that we're just blocking in here just to get an idea of what is actually where. So you got the railings there and the top of the railings here. And we've got the grey pathway here in the centre. It's grey, concrete sort of pathway. Now, you see blue and brown. What colour pathway? Right now I don't have a grey out on the palette, so I'm going to come back to that. And what we'll do in the meantime is put in some of the darker parts of the canal Now I'm mixing sap green and ultramarine blue here because it'll look better that way. Even though a lot of the water is murky, but we don't necessarily want to paint murky water. Yeah. So we give it a blue tint here, because otherwise if it's just pure murk, it's not going to be very attractive. So it's not just what you see, although it can be. For some artists, nothing will do, only to paint exactly as they see it. Those are painters who favor realism, which is very exacting, often very beautiful too, but it depends on your style. I think you can kind of lose some spontaneity maybe with that. I think I would anyway. So, and perhaps better with a more loose impressionistic style. Although I'm not terribly keen on very abstract work, but this I can handle, I think. Now, the path is got a bit wonky there, but we won't mind about that for now. And I'm just going to clean some of the greenery. First, perhaps a nice big tree trunk over here on the edge. This side. There's a nice tree trunk leaning over. Again, just a bare outline. And in this one, the light was coming from this side because there were buildings on this side, sort of blocking the light. But I'm not really putting in light and shade as yet. As you can see, it's mostly just forms. When we get to the light and shade, like that would be coming much lighter there on that side. But I'm not being too fussy about that, even though that's probably more than sin. But I just kind of want to get some forms down first. Okay, so let's get some of our sap green for it. And put some of that in here. Again, just very roughly blocking in. And we don't mind about it bleeding in there for the moment. Really doesn't matter. Just roll up the shape up there. And the trees don't narrow in that rapidly, so there. Quite a substantial tree we want there. And kind of roughly outline that will be cutting these here. Again, very so carelessly putting those in there at this point. And as I said here, it was very leafy, but we'll come back to that when we're doing the next sort of painting. But I'm happy enough that there's some red in there too. We could bring some of that in here as well. We'll probably, some of this will have shadows colours as well from the tree and the leaves above, all of that. Now, I do recall also that there were some nice kind of shrubs down at the end here, leaning in on the path. So again, just getting that shape in, bare minimum. And let's see, for the path, do I have grey? I could use thought I had this teeny tiny bit of black will do it, even although again a lot of artists don't use black, and mostly I don't either, to be honest, because it doesn't always look right. You can make very dark colours with the use of your other colours, and I'm mixing this black with some of the white and ultramarine, and that's giving a greyish effect. Not as grey as I like it, but since it's an undercoat, it doesn't matter all that much. Again, we're just outlining where things are, basically. So we will be having some light parts and some dark parts. Generally speaking, it had the dark parts sort of nearer to the viewer's eye. So in other words, be down low here. And the lighter parts up here. You don't want to get too perfectionist at this point, because you're going to be going over it anyway. But a little light spot here and there, leaving a little light spot won't do any harm, because you will be looking for light spots throughout. Now, okay, we're going up this end. We'll just first indicate that there's a wall over here. No, it wasn't a very fussy wall. It was pretty mundane, as I recall. So I won't be going too much trouble there. And there is a white awning there. Just over here. And then we need some sort of concrete grey here. That's possibly a wee bit dark, but again, we don't need to worry too much about it at this point. So that goes right up here. And just one division in those, as I go. And there we go again. Okay, so we've got a very mere sketch of things here. These are windows, and those are the separations between. Okay. So your rags are handy for your brushes and for other things, or paper towels, whichever. Okay, so now for this area here, this is where the eye sort of, where the vision ends kind of for the eye. So we need some foliage in here, but it's got to be light, more distant than the others. And I think for the tree trunks, or maybe grey them a bit, because the brown is too close and too real, perhaps. So I'm going to do just a little bit of this here. Maybe should have done that there, but something like that. Make that go around a little like that. This, so that it doesn't so much square off there, and to make that lighter, but you can use your fingers for that. Okay, so I might even put some sort of blue into those for the trunks later, but for now we'll just put an outline of them. I do kind of want to see bluish foliage up there, because I want it to be a bit lighter, and just as well, you may have heard that lighter colours give a sense of distance. For instance, you want to do the hills, you know, a lighter colour, a bluish, something to do with light particles separating on the horizon. I don't want to get too technical, but I think that would be good to bear in mind for these more distant trees and shrubs. Oh, now, so I got a bit carried away there, you know. I sort of put the trees in the canal. Let's see, what do we need to do? We need to run this here over. Okay, this is why the reference photo would have been good. And I kind of liked that tree trunk, but it's gotta go. So, what we need to do here is I'll make the canal go in a bit for the distance. This way. No, that's a bit lighter, obviously. Getting a bit fussy now, because I don't really want to lose my canal. Okay, something like that. Now then, what we need to do is to kind of have an overhang of shrubbery, but not looking like it's in the canal. So, something such as this. be shrubbery from this side. This path going a little too. Still having a problem with that canal. And it's a problem of perspective, I can see that. Which way to take it, that's photo. Flying blind, you might say. And it might be right. Okay, so we've got wall going further. And what we need to do, actually, here, we need that part to be very vague at the moment. Just hop back here. And I think we may need some more shrubs. Greener ones that are darker, but perhaps on the bank here. I don't recall them in there. And to make that sort of a vague distance spot for now. But what will be needed? I need that canal to try to turn it that way maybe. It's got to be made distance now. Oh, I think we'll get there at the next round. Okay, and for now, I'm just gonna add a teeny bit of not green, no. What do we want there? Down there. Right there. And then let's go right up. A little grey here, grey in the background. Just to sort of vaguely indicate some concrete back there. Right here with my like sky holes actually, they'd be best. Okay, might just pop some of those in here so that it looks like the light's coming in. And as I said here earlier, we want to see the light coming in from that side, so I'll make the sky holes bright. So I'm going here with them. Here. I'm going to make those sky holes too. And some of them. We can come back to this part, don't forget. So they give the impression of the light seeping through the trees. Oops. I'm tempted all the time to make a mess of that, haven't I? I'll definitely need to come back to that supposed canal. For now, it's not looking much like water, but I won't give up entirely on the idea. What we'll do is fade back some of it right here at the top. Fade back more of it. Maybe we should put another sort of edging there because it definitely seems to me that I don't know why there wasn't an edge there. But if I didn't sketch it, it likely wasn't there, but it seems to me that there would be some kind of edge. Rather than just there by itself, if you know what I mean. Yeah, so something like that, a shrubbery edge, or I don't want more concrete, so I guess we'll give it a shrubbery edge. And then we can be sort of just catching a glimpse of the canal behind that, which would make a lot more sense. And that way we can make the painting work better too. See? So you've gotta use everything you got. Okay. Now, obviously that will need to be unevened and so on. And given more of reliefy patterns, and that's filling over the path a little and narrowing in at the top. And I can put some sort of light reflections then on the water, only they won't quite be going that direction. Water finds its own level, you see, so it kind of has to look real and balanced. But we're not going to get into that greatly right now. Okay, some more leaves, roughly the side of the path. A little bit filling in there too. And maybe that's where we'll drop it for today. I'm getting some kind of an idea of what's going where. But nothing is very clear, that's for sure. The smaller one, where's it gone? So this will do. Okay, just to, again, to indicate that, and it's hard for me a little bit not to sort of paint that rather than just a sketch, which is really all I want to do. Okay, we will leave that one for today and get back to the third one. Let's see what we can make of that. Okay, so got 2 sketches started. And now this one, I don't know if I can even do this here because it looks pretty tricky. I wanted to do a snow scene because we have snow here at the moment. Well, it's actually melting now, but we've had it for the last week. And in Ireland, we're not used to the snow or the frost. And we don't like it, generally speaking. It causes problems for us. People have to dig sheep out of the snow. That seems awful, the poor things. I didn't need to be dug out of the snow, but the heating broke down. And so that made it all a bit miserable. But what I'm getting to here is I wanted to do a snow scene. It still inspired me to paint. Now, I think I should clean some of these brushes before I start. Again, there's the vaguest sketch on that canvas, and I am going to hopefully put in an outline of the vision. Again, this was a photograph taken by my daughter, and we both live out in rural type areas. Hers is more rural, and she took a photo of a farm gate in the snow. So we shall try that. But I think we should start with some outline of the snow. I'm going to put some fresh pencil into another little, just a lid basically, because the other Gamsol is now contaminated with browns and reds and all sorts. And we'll start off with the bluey white for the snow. Okay, so again, you won't see it here because it's very, very light. See, I didn't want to do black because it can be hard to paint white over black and eliminate it entirely. But I did want to have some sort of outline. So you can just see the gate there, and it's going off into the distance. And here, there's a hint of a shrub, and over here it doesn't matter about those finger marks because there's another shrub there. And up here, we just have some hills indicated, gentle hills, very much County Kildare / Meath hills. They don't rise very far. And they're indicated mostly by the hedging. Now here, we will want some tracks in the snow. I don't know that I want that there yet, but remember again, it doesn't matter, we're going to paint over it anyway. Okay, so we start up with the hill here, I think. That's the first hill. And as you can see, you can hardly see the snow, but I'm putting in just a hint of bluey green actually, because it's a much lighter shade, but it's similar to what I used for the background shrubs in the last one that we were working on. Okay, so a little darker here because this will be where the shrubs will be indicating a field along there. And back to whiter snow here in between the gate. Okay, so black that out. So that's the outline of the gate. And there were 2 telegraph poles coming here as well, which I thought were kind of quaint nowadays. You don't see them in the city so much. So this is where my sort of track will be. The pathway that has been used. Okay, again, very much an outline. No. Let's see how we go. No, we want a bit of sky here too, but it's kind of a greyish pink sky that we get when the snow here. I won't mind too much about this end. But up here, let's see, where's the Gamsol? This is Gamsol. Okay, so we'll go keep it a bit grey, that end, and then in keeping with what you see here is that kind of mauvish colour. Now I'm going to put in just a bit of pink for the moment. Maybe toning that down. It's just to get some sort of the kind of effect that the sky might have here. And I always think if we see that sky being mauvey, then there's kind of definitely more snow on the way. That's the way it seems. Anyway. That's too much, even for an undercoat, but use some of it in. You want that part of the skylight down up above. But yet it always has that whitish glow too. So maybe That's organizing in. Some more white here. I just, even though it's an undercoat there, try and spread it a bit more lightly. No. You want this guy. And there's certain perfumes over here. The hills we want. The hills we have. Okay. And that way. That looks nice. Gives more impression of the fields slanting up the back. Yep. Okay. Now, let's give it more white. Let's get that snowy sort of overhang up there, where that the snow tends to drift. And some more light snow here. And up here. Again, we're not going to worry too much about anything at this point. Just barely sketching in. And again here, you've got the bars of the fencing, this very loose fencing here. And I'm going to go over that now in just a minute. It doesn't matter if we have some pink in the snow because we will be putting in some lights. And as you can see here, it's the sky lighting. There's nothing in the way of the sky, so that the light falls right well in a way. But there will still be shadows. Again, it's a little bit shabby. So, bring it up a little bit like that. That's sort of better. And right here, let's put in some blue tracks, I think, just to give the indication of the path. So, the way it goes is sort of this part tinted. Turn that over to make it narrow there. And again over this side, and then have that sort of lumpy bit then in the middle. A humpy piece of snow. You know the way it tends to gather up like that. I'm not getting it there, but I will as we go along. And again, on a two-dimensional surface, you've got to use shadows because obviously you just won't see the snow unless we use light and dark. That's how we get the impression of the snow. I'll come in again for a little more sort of darkness this side. It doesn't have to be terribly distinct. Again, we're looking for impressions. And that's how the human eye sees things, because you may have heard other painters say too that to an extent we fit the picture together. Because we're built that way, we're humans, and when we see things we try and make shapes that are familiar. And a lot of artists use that technique to just suggest things, because the eye will make the full picture. That's called Gestalt theory in psychology. You can look it up if you want. Where we put things together once we have an outline. And especially one that is a pattern that we know. Now, there's some crabs sticking out of the snow here, just to give the indication of the greens are underneath, and there was, if I recall, a large shrub here. I like that kind of bluey green that I'm getting with the sap green and ultramarine. A little bit of white in there too. Now I will sort of need more than that. But again, this is just the barest outline. I think we should maybe take a look at the gates. I guess they would be brown wood, but I'm going to grade them up a bit too with that mix I'm going to have there. Okay, so make that hole here. And we can put the snow on the posts later as well, by the way. Because we'll need to be there. We've got another post here. And post coming down here. There's actually another one here. And it's kind of, it's sort of lumpy and bumpy at this part. It's put together by somebody. It looks like it's been repaired, you know. So got a cross going that way. Got another little one going here. That one goes over. And here, here, another cross here. Another downward here. And we leave that part in the snow. So now these little things are very handy too. They're cotton buds. I used to call them something else. Or is it? Okay, well, we'll be coming back to those blurry bits. We don't want to get too preoccupied with details at this point, as I said. Let's continue just so we know where the fence is basically going. It's going to be top bar here. Over here. Here. And there. And on to here. They're not necessarily very even, so we're not going to worry too much about that. So I kind of like that darker fence post, but on the fence post. So walk this way. No. Make it shorter as it goes away into the distance, but not too much shorter, because that won't be believable. That's got a little bit thickened. Okay. Again, there's a sort of a repair job done there. So here. Yeah. I do the smaller brush here, but it doesn't matter since it's just a sketch. I'm coming back to all that. Okay, now I wanted to just outline those poles, these, what do you call them, telegraph poles, so right here, and then some of them are just here, and we've got that. I don't know if I should do the wire. I will just string it for the moment. And what else do we need? Okay, so there's some shrubs aside as well. It's sticking up a bit. Shrubs are grasses. And should put some across this way too. Across that back here. Perhaps up there at that edge. No, that's a bit too browny, but I can come back again. There. I don't know, no, that's too, I think that's too kind of near. Doesn't look right. So, I suppose what I'm trying to do with this one is to get some atmosphere in. There's really not an awful lot in the picture, but what I'm hoping to do is, as we go further, get a lot of nice lights and darks in here, even though it may not look like that now. What did I put in there? Yeah, okay, so back to our shadows a little bit. I'm not doing the shadows of the pole just yet, so I want to get the impression of the snow down first. I don't like, if that looks too grey, it's a bit dull. saying, right at the moment, I really just have that one shrub. So, even then it doesn't look right because it's not large enough. It should be bigger. So we'll do that now. Looking at the, yeah, maybe we'll sort of a few rough stems. Now, I can later, I can put in some snow on that as well. And I think what we need maybe going up here. Oh, maybe we should put in some fir trees. Even though there weren't any, but they can look nice. Maybe two up here. Okay. So let's see. They tend to fall this way. Well, some of them have branches that rise like that, and some of them have the branches that come down. These ones are going to rise upwards, and again, later we can do some snow there, and there can be a little bit more shrubs sticking up.